You look at the world, and you see a machine, a massive, infinitely complex machine, waiting to be managed. I have watched you. I have watched how you operate, how you plan your days, how you treat your entire life like an ultra-high-fidelity, exploded technical diagram. You break everything down into little moving parts: the income, the investments, the daily routines, the precise flow of your career. You think that if you just study the blueprint long enough, if you just tighten every single screw, you can engineer your own destiny. Just like building a flawless, critical hospital infrastructure. You believe that if the pipes are routed correctly, if the pressure is monitored, nothing can possibly go wrong. What a beautiful, arrogant delusion. You sit there, in the glow of your monitors, conducting your little competitive market analyses. You hunt for the market gaps. You map out the competitor weaknesses. You calculate the exact view velocity of your own success. You genuinely believe that if you gather enough data, you become the master of the universe. But look at your hands. They are trembling. Your mind is constantly racing. Your sleep is a joke. You have built a fortress of spreadsheets and strategies, yet you are terrified of the wind. You are not the master engineer. You are just a hostage to your own expectations. Why are you so exhausted? Let us be absolutely, brutally honest. You are not tired from the physical labor. You are not burnt out from the hours you put in. You are exhausted because your ego is trying to play God. Nearly 2,000 years ago, a slave named Epictetus, a man who actually had no control over his own physical body, handed us the ultimate psychological weapon: the dichotomy of control. He said, there are things entirely within our power and things entirely outside of it. It is a concept so simple, a child could understand it. Yet you, with all your sophisticated tools and digital dashboards, fail to grasp it every single day. You pour all of your mental energy into the variables you do not own. The algorithm, the sudden shifts in the economy, the unpredictable opinions of your clients, the random, chaotic actions of your competitors. You are trying to command the ocean, to stop making waves, and you are crying when your feet get wet. Every time you obsess over an outcome, every time you tie your self-worth to a metric you cannot dictate, you are voluntarily handing over your peace of mind to a world that does not care about your plans. You worship the false god of variables, and that god demands the sacrifice of your sanity. So, what happens when the math doesn't add up? What happens when the pressure valve fails? When the flawless medical gas installation you so carefully designed in your mind bursts at the seams? You did everything right. You followed the exact protocol. You outworked the competition. And yet, the project fails. The client walks away. The market crashes. This is the breaking point. This is where the modern man collapses. You stare at the wreckage of your perfect plan, and you feel a deep, burning resentment. You scream at the universe, "This is not fair. I did everything right, You feel betrayed by the very laws of cause and effect that you worshipped. But the universe is not a vending machine. You do not put in the coin of hard work and automatically receive the candy of success. That is a lie, sold to you by motivational speakers who profit from your anxiety. When your system collapses, it is not a tragedy. It is a correction. Reality is violently shaking you by the shoulders, trying to wake you up from the hallucination that you were ever in charge in the first place. Your suffering in that moment does not come from the failure itself. It comes entirely from your ego's refusal to accept reality. If you stay in that frustration, you will turn bitter. You will become one of those cynical, angry men who blame the world for their lack of control. But there is a door, a very narrow, invisible door out of this mental prison. And to open it, we must leave the Stoic logic of Rome and walk into the blinding, quiet light of the Eastern mystics. The Sufis, they understood the paradox of human ambition. They lived by a profound, terrifying principle called Tawakkul, active surrender. A man once asked the prophet, "Should I tie my camel or should I trust in God?" The answer was the ultimate blueprint for the modern operator. Tie your camel first, and then trust in God. Do you understand the weight of that command? It means you must build the infrastructure. You must analyze the market. You must execute your strategy with absolute surgical perfection. You do not become lazy. You do not become passive. You tie the camel with the thickest rope you can find, and you check the knot twice. But the moment the work is done, the moment the project is launched, the moment the email is sent, you must completely and utterly let it go. If a storm comes in the night and takes the camel anyway, your heart does not move, because your job was only the knot. The storm is none of your business. This is the slaughter of the ego. To work with furious passion and yet remain completely detached from the harvest. When you fuse the cold boundary of the Stoic with the radical surrender of the Sufi, what do you become? You become a lethal anomaly in the modern world. You become the untouchable operator. Imagine it. Imagine walking into the chaos of your industry, surrounded by competitors who are sweating, panicking, and burning out. They are living and dying by every tiny fluctuation in the data. But not you. You step into the room like a ghost. You observe the machinery. You make the optimal decisions. You execute your duties flawlessly. But internally? Internally, you are sitting in an empty room in absolute silence. If the project generates millions, you nod and you go to sleep. If the project burns to the ground, you nod, you sweep up the ashes, and you go to sleep. You are no longer playing their game. You have stripped the external world of its power to dictate your internal weather. You are no longer managing outcomes. You are only managing your own character. They cannot intimidate you. They cannot pressure you. Because how exactly do you threaten a man who has already surrendered everything he cannot control? You can't. He is bulletproof. Not because he wears armor, but because there is no ego left for the bullet to hit. The machine will keep spinning, with or without your anxiety. So, Take a deep breath. Look at that massive, heavy blueprint of your life that you have been carrying around in your mind. The timelines, the financial goals, the strict expectations of where you should be by now. Drop it. Let it burn. If you want to spend the next 30 years obsessing over variables that do not know your name, go ahead. The world is full of rich, successful men who are absolutely miserable inside their own heads. You can join them. I will not try to convince you otherwise. The bar is almost empty, and the music is fading out. But if you are finally ready to stop playing God, if you are ready to do the work and leave the results to the void, then welcome to the quiet side. The knot is tied. The rest is silence. Sleep well.